Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom on Mojo5 Radio, and I'm glad that you're listening in and you're following, and we're going to just have another awesome and amazing day as we start off a new week. Phil Mickelson just set a record and winning the another PGA Tour and a Masters. And I'm your host, Watson Prunier. My website, Battle4Freedom.com. From there, go out and share this out with as many people as you can. Also, go to Mojo50.com. If you're listening online, you probably just finished listening to Defending 2A with Jason Gouffre. Please do me a favor, take a listen to that, and let's start this off right with some American Pride Roasters coffee. We do this because of the fact that this is how we share the love. We share the news. Start your day off right with some American Pride Roasters coffee.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo5 Radio, and most important, Battle4Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
American Pride Roasters, share with as many people as you possibly can. But not only that one, I want to also look into New Life Holistic. So let's look into New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
Yes, New Life Holistic. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can. And if you want to interact with me on this program during this broadcast, do me a favor, go to facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio and share with out as many people as you possibly can. This is how we just interact, and we have so much fun with everyone as we have this discussion here. This has been a very interesting day, or interesting weekend. I don't know about you guys, but my weekends always go really, really well, and I love how I don't know what your weekend was like. Mine was full of a lot of fun. There's a lot of things I'm going to be talking about, but if people want to interact, go to facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio, and we'll go from here. I see Carolyn, I see Lep, I see also Kathy, Linda, Curtis. Thank you so much, every last one of you, for being here as we get through another broadcast of wrong way. Bring the camera back this way. There you go. Of a Battle for Freedom. So I want to talk to you about, if you think about, what is it? Back in the 80s or 90s, when Saturday Night Live was good and it was funny. Eddie Murphy had this one scene where he was playing buckwheat, and he was going through a lot of the different songs that were just really great. Unce, Tice, Fee Times a Matey. But one of the ones that really stuck out for me was when he was Wookin Panub in all the wrong places. Wookin Panub. And that's what I'm going to talk to you today about. Wookin Panub, loving the one in the mirror. Not the man in the mirror, loving the one in the mirror. And so thank you, 70s. Thank you very much, Lep. He's mentioning too, if you go to facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio and you look at the chat, you can basically see how Lep shares this information about there's going to be an event taking place August 19th that if you are a Mojo listener and you're in the area, he can tell you a little bit more about that. I see that you also have Josh and Jill. Thank you for joining and being part of the program. But Wookin Panub, loving the one in the mirror. So I had a situation this weekend where I had sent out a message to a lot of different people because of the fact that things were taking place, things were evolving, and society has this fast-paced movement, and there are a lot of different things. Battle for Freedom, triggering change one heartbeat at a time. If as long as your heart is beating, that means that you have, and I have an opportunity to make changes in my life as long as our heartbeats are moving and there's a pulse going. That means that there's hopefully blood moving, oxygen moving throughout our bodies, giving us the opportunity to wake up to the challenge and do what's right when given the opportunity. When given the opportunity to share with people, communicate with people, and let them know exactly what's going on, most times we can communicate truth. We can communicate ideas and concepts to people, hoping that, by the time that we finally die, feel like we've accomplished what it was that we were supposed to. Me as in with Battle for Freedom, one of the different things that I'll do is I will turn around and I'll show where we may make some errors, and we have to make changes. Just like when I go to church and I hear a sermon and I see that there are things that I have to change in my life. It's not because there's hate towards me. The pastors don't hate me, the ones who are preaching the word of God, and they're there for the glory of God and not for the glory of themselves. So I sent out the following message to about 20 people, and for some strange reason, the message didn't go over too well with some. Well, a couple. I said, "Hi, friends and family. I appreciate all of you and the friendship we have. I would like to make a minor request with regards to parenting. Our society is so enamored with sex and all things lust. It's overwhelming in far too many ways. Our girls are 8, 6, and 4, soon to be 9, 7, and 5. They're kids. We'd like them to remain that way as long as possible and just enjoy being kids. Please refrain from asking the girls about boys. They do not need to be considering the topic of boyfriends at such a young age. Honestly, we press that mess on them way too soon and wonder why our kids end up sexually active so soon. Even if a boy shows interest, please do not connect them for the sake of entertaining something cute. My girls need to enjoy being girls without the added drama and stress of trying to please or gain the attention of a peer. It is unfair to their psychological development. At 8 years of age, I was exposed to pornography. I kissed a girl, my first girl at 10, at a park under a towel, and she wasn't wearing her swimsuit. So I know what it means to over-sexualize children. If my request is too burdensome, let me know. And I can remove the stress of you fulfilling this request. The purity of my girls is the utmost importance and begins here. Pass the information on to others so that they will be aware and mindful of the request. Thank you, Watson." So as I put this message, to a lot of people, one of the things that was very interesting in this whole process was almost everybody responded. Great. One person said, "This needs to be in a newspaper. It needs to be in a local newspaper." And other people said, "This is parenting." But then all of a sudden, instead of just saying, "Yes, I got you, I agree with you," I have a family member who moved here from New York, decided that they wanted to hypocritically move here and basically say, "Don't tell anyone I moved here. I want people in New York to believe that I'm still there, that just don't see me anymore. Please do not tell anyone I'm here in New York." As much as I didn't agree with the principle, a request was made to me. This person didn't even tell their godmother. They didn't tell most of the people that they called good friends. But regardless of the request was honored. And then I find out, because of the fact that I'm this horrific parent who basically says that I don't tell people how to raise my kids, or I don't give people instructions on guiding my kids, because of the fact that 7 years ago they gave my kid a lollipop and I was bothered by it, because for some strange reason it should be normal that you tell a person you don't give another person's child candy without talking to them. But because a nutritional guide wasn't asked, it's almost like cell phones didn't exist. It was almost like there was no means of communicating and having a conversation and calling out and saying, excuse me, what are the boundaries of what you want or what you expect is as I take care of your child? Because of the fact that we have to tell things to people. Battle for Freedom is to make aware to all of us that we have patterns, we have colloquialism, we have a lot of different things that we do and say that we just do out of habit because of the fact that it's what everybody has done, but it has never always been profitable. Giving kids candy, giving kids junk food, childhood obesity, childhood diabetes is a reality because we just keep doing the things that everyone does. And we feel self-righteous in ourselves that, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I want, and we hold other people to a level that we ourselves don't live to. So for 7 years, I've had a person who's invited me into their home, asked me for their help. I've assisted with no problem. Another person I've helped move. I've tended to their place. And when I moved into a home that we were in, my family were in, that we were blessed to be in, almost a mansion, invited a person for 18 months into our home, fed, went out and bought extra food for barbecues and so much more, to love on you, to experience time with my family, to just try and give some sense of normalcy as they move away from everyone else. But me, I'm this horrific individual. I'm being held to a standard because of the fact that I'm being the unrighteous one. I'm being painted out as a villain because I tell people, don't talk to my... And I'm sitting here thinking, like, why in the world would you be flipping out right now on a simple request unless there was some problem within you and you've been judging me for so long? Because now this is the straw that broke the camel's back. That I keep doing things, I keep saying things that basically says, I can't be around you anymore. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Because this is the problem. It finally hit me. It finally hit me. I'm being judged by a standard by people who find value in themselves because someone has a nice big house out west, because someone's driving a BMW now, because someone has a nice job. All of a sudden, they are morally and ethically better than me. And I finally realized that the people that I'm having a problem with right now, the people who I'm having this problem with in this simple request, are people who are too busy loving the one in the mirror, that it's mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me who is the fairest one of them all, or who's the holiest, or who is the goodest one of them all. Who is the morally better person? I find out that they're Wookin penub because they're in the mirror looking and loving on themselves rather than being the very good-natured people that they call themselves to be. What I realize is as I show you this graphic for the show here, I show you Eddie Murphy in the middle looking like buckwheat from the 70s. You have Joe Biden to the left. You have Donald Trump to the right. And honestly, you can see a lot of this rooted even in this simple graphic right now. People are looking for love to restore the country in Donald Trump. People are looking for love and restoring the country through Joe Biden. It goes from our partisanship, where we believe that we are morally superior in our political parties, in our style of living, and that we are these better people. One of the people have been posing as a Christian for so long and has not walked away from their faith in Islam. Posing as a Christian and trying to make up this homogenized version of being a good person, while hypocritically condemning others right in front of their face, being two-faced, being two-faced. That's exactly it. Narcissistic people. There are many levels of narcissism. You're right, Kathy. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, there's so much. Like, my wife was like, don't try and understand this. Don't try and wrap your head around this, because it makes zero sense why you're getting this. The why you're getting all this stress. But then I had to look at it, and I finally realized it's because of the fact that, like Kathy said, the level of narcissism in people, they make a request, you honor their request. You make a request. Your request is completely preposterous. It's completely unorthodox. It's completely unloving. It's completely judgmental. And I love this because of the fact that in this whole process for 7 years, I've been condemned by self-righteous people who don't see the fact that they're judging me for judging while judging. But they're judging me for judging because they're too busy loving the one in the mirror. They're wooking Panub in all the wrong places. Because for the thing about it is they're thinking that they're spreading out this love and joy and peace and kindness and goodness and everything like that. They're not realizing that they're not loving anybody else. They're too busy loving themselves. See, love extends themselves. Love goes out of their way to extend themselves. I understand that there are going to be moments that we're going to disagree with one another. It's completely understandable. It's completely understandable. And there's a part where all of us have to sit there and go through this. Like even last week, I was attacked. I was attacked because I believe in the Trinity. I was attacked by another Christian because I believe in the Trinity. I was attacked by another Christian because I don't believe that water baptism is required for salvation. Because how do you handle the thief and the cross when Jesus said, today you will be with me in paradise? How do you handle that? But even the narcissism works its way even into the body of Christ. I know I've been there. And I know there's a lot of me that still needs to work itself out, that I get rid of the man in the mirror and I just basically keep trying to point you up north to the man in heaven, the one who has guided us, the one who's created us, the one who shows mercy and grace and kindness to us every day. Baptism is an outward expression. But now I'm condemned because I'm basically I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Bible. This is the conversation that I had last week. I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, holy cow. We used to pray together, but we don't pray together anymore because okay, fine. See, you have to understand, last week, Wednesday, when we went through Psalms, the first 41 Psalms of the book of Psalms. It was a very emotional day for me as I started getting into the book of Psalms and, after the sovereignty of God, because even this, I'm not really surprised by what I'm going through because God is working this out for a reason, for his glory, for my growth, for my family's growth in the midst of all of this stuff. That you sit here and you say, okay, Lord, what's the lesson I'm supposed to be picking up here? Because one of my buddies was talking, a lot of people who say they're in your corner aren't. And a lot of people who are in your corner, they have a very unique way of sharing this and showing this. And I really believe that when you sit here and you find those people who really have the substance, who really have the character and integrity that you can trust and you can appreciate, do your best you can to lift them up, encourage them, and move them forward. The ones, and not because you're looking for something back in return from them, but because you and we love seeing people succeed. So what we'll do is everything we can to help them move on. And the ones who are really supposed to be in our lives will be the ones who are in our lives. And the ones who aren't supposed to be in our lives, don't fight it. If God's taking them away, let God take them away. I saw this, this. Let me go to some of these things here. There was this in terms of Wookin Panub in all the wrong places. I saw this one article here. This was this is this woman. I can't even show her picture right now, but this is the title of the article. This is me and my blank life. Motel room after getting rejected. Woman 31 documents on Twitter her journey across the country to win over the love of her life and how she ended up alone in a Oregon motel. You know, and it's very interesting because of the fact that here she is, she's Wookin Panub, going all the way to Oregon. Hey, listen, I went to as far as St. Louis. I went as far as California from Indiana, Wookin Panub, and yeah, praise God. I have the bride, I have the queen, I have the jewel that God has given to me now. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I will be grateful for the gift and the gifts that God has given me through the marriage, wife, and children that I have right now, and prayerfully till the Lord returns. But yeah, I understand this about, you know, documenting, you know, how even as I share this thing with you, I wasn't looking for love from these other individuals. I was just automatically assuming that, hey, there was already a mutual thing of respect going on for so long, but obviously there wasn't. See, I think that sometimes, you know, people will say that they're friends, they say that they love you, they say that they appreciate you, but it's a lot of lip service. It's a lot of lip service. So one of the things that we can learn from this is don't look for love, don't look for essence, don't look for acceptance, except from anyone but for God. If you're married, prayerfully your spouse is lifting you up and encouraging you. If you have children, hopefully your children will sit there and tell you how much they appreciate you, the love that they give to you, and you do the same to them. That we deposit love into our kids, into our grandkids, and so much more. Worship together in the same church. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing when you're around authentic people because they do the stuff, they show the love, they show the care, they show the concern without hesitation. It's just who they are. There's no pretending. There's no play acting. There's no genuflecting. It's just who they are. It comes out by now. My family will drive. We had a couple weekends we were away, but we will drive 55 miles one way to a church. And when we walk in the door, from the reception to the door, the reception inside the church, the reception during worship, the reception going out, it's clear there's no play acting going on. It's clear. There's no play acting going on. So when people sit there and they can't make it, they don't understand why it is in my family. Why are you driving all the way to that church when you have all these other different churches that you can go to right now? Because there's a lot of them, not all of them, but there are many of them that we attended in between, and it was too much play acting rather than the real deal. Too much play acting rather than the real deal. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for being part of this program. But I saw this was a very interesting story with this woman, but it wasn't. I'm going to skip that one. I don't want to do that one. That one doesn't work. Here was one. Here was one because this is the nature of society. I know I'm kind of all over the map here on this whole thing here, but I want you to understand this. We have practices, we have things that we do in our society that goes unchecked for so long. We're damaging people, we're hurting people, we're destroying lives, and we do nothing. This was a sad one as I sat here watching this thing. Amy Winehouse was barely conscious after 5 days. Solid drinking. 5 days solid drinking, but they picked her off of the sofa and put her in a car to go on tour. 10 years after her death, the singer's best friend, Tyler James, raises tough questions for the music industry. And you guys have seen Amy Winehouse. You see, let's go to a break, and I'll talk to you on the flip side.
Oh, triggered!
Yes, Olive, what do you want to ask me?
What's a commie Nazi? Triggered!
It's when the totalitarians of the Progressive Democrat Party are aggressively destroying our country.
Did you have too much American Pride Roasters coffee, Daddy? Daddy?
Yes, sweetie.
What's a totalitarian? What's a totalitarian?
It's power-hungry people making really bad rules that they will not follow themselves.
Isn't that what you tell us happens with big government?
Yes! Exactly! You make me want to cry.
Aww!
We love you, Daddy.
We love you, Daddy.
I love you too. Now, where were we?
Government back. God give. Amen.
Hallelujah.
I love being a dad.
Hey everyone, I'm your host Watson Prenay from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio as we sit here talking about Wookin, Penub, and so much more. My website, battle4freedom.com. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Another thing I want you to go and look into doing right now is if those of you who are enjoying the Battle for Freedom experience and you want to do a little bit more, have a really cool thing that I want you to see is if you go to Romika Designs /Battle for Freedom, that's ROMIKA designs.com /Battle for Freedom, you get a chance to see some really cool things that's going on there. When you get to that page, you can find this really cool tumbler that you can get. It's a Battle for Freedom tumbler, if you want, 20-ounce tumbler, and you can share with as many people. Give everyone the code B4F and save 10% on the order. I believe that you'll enjoy this B4F tumbler that you can get, and you'll really enjoy this. This is really, really cool. Nice designs. Ooh, say pretty. You can do that. But remember, do me a favor. Have your bills paid off before you decide to make a purchase of this. As much as I appreciate your support in this area, I'd rather you do me a favor. Get your bills paid off before you make any investment into Battle for Freedom. And if you have the money, if you have the time, go to mojo50.com and share out that with as many people as you possibly can, because you can also donate when you go there. So if you don't want to buy the tumbler, you have too many tumblers, go to mojo50.com and /donate, click the button donate and share it out. To give as you can liberally, but again, please make sure your bills are taken care of, and this is money that you budgeted to be an act of charity and gift. So today I've been just talking about Wookin Penub and just basically loving the one in the mirror. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that all of us have this weird process of doing things. All of us have this weird process of doing things, and we don't seem to understand why is it that we are broken. Our families are broken. There's so much that's just messed up in who we are. And I finally recognize it's because of the self-love that we have of the person in the mirror. Literally, I mean, think about this. The number of families that are broken because a spouse wants to love themselves more than they love their spouse. A parent who wants to love themselves more than they want to love their kid. Just this whole idea that we have, or a child who wants to love themselves more than they love their siblings, more than they love their parents. Self-love. That we get to this point that we start accumulating things and believing that accumulating things is making us something that we're not. And I sit there and I look at the story of Amy Winehouse. The story of Amy Winehouse is so heartbreaking because you look at this, because it just wasn't her managers. It was her followers. That we wanted people play. Even right now, as much as I disagree with Colin Kaepernick and his whole message of systemic racism and police brutality and all these other, even as much as I disagree with that, I really was saddened by our language. That we as conservatives, I didn't come here to hear you say anything. Play, monkey, play. Just play football. I want to be entertained. I don't want to hear your politics. But how many of us sit there and we are pro Tebow, who's being brought back to the NFL? But now it's racism because Tebow's getting an opportunity and Colin Kaepernick hasn't. Because Colin Kaepernick burned bridges. It doesn't matter the athletic prowess of Colin Kaepernick over Tebow. Tebow didn't burn bridges. See, a lot of people believe, oh, you know what? I'm just going to be disrespectful to Watson. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to be two-faced to him, and I'm going to sit here, and you're turning away family. You have to understand something. There are people who want to come into my life, and they expect me to pay for everything for them. They expect me to just pay for phones, pay for this, just hand money out. Hey, I don't speak to you for years, but the first thing I'm going to come to you is you're my ATM machine, and you're supposed to give me money. You're supposed to provide for me. You're supposed to feed my narcissism. And if you don't do it, you're unloving, you're uncaring. The whole idea that we have on the plane when they tell you, in case of an emergency, put your mask on first before you help other people. It's not about selfishness. Yes, users, Carolyn, users. This whole idea that you run into this concept that, listen, my family, like many American families, managed our money horribly. We managed our money horribly. Why? Because of self-love. Because of the fact that we didn't have boundaries and what we were doing. We just wanted to just buy, spend. Money we didn't have, but we just threw on credit and completely wrecked our lives. The reason why it is right now, this September we'll be celebrating 10 years of marriage. 10 years of marriage. We're not in the home. I was hoping that by the time we hit our 10-year anniversary, we would have hopefully been in a home by then. Our target is off now. COVID and a few other different things derailed that process. It's life. We're not going to turn around and just go out and buy a house just to buy a house so we can say we can be in a house. We're not going to go out and just buy a BMW just so we can say we have a flashy car and that we're someone that we're not. We're trying to make responsible decisions. We're trying to even show our family members, my side of the family, my wife's side of the family. Guess what? What happens if you live within a budget? God can give you the desires of your heart if you live responsibly. And we're trying to do that. Are we doing it right all the time? No. So many areas that we have to improve in this thing called a budget, because our goal is to be debt-free by the end of this year. To be debt-free by the end of this year. Everybody just assumes we can just keep driving back to New York whenever we want to, whenever there's any kind of occasion. Just pick up and get in your car and drive. Yeah, I can just do that. I'm basically, because I'm not spending money that I don't have. Instead of getting my family out of debt, I'm just going to keep jumping in a car, drive 14 to 18 hours to New York, or jump on a plane and fly to New York to be around all kinds of family events and leave my wife here with my 3 kids. because I'm showing my love for the family. Because this is my commitment to my extended family rather than being responsible for the family that I prayed for, that God provided me a bride, God provided me more kids, that I have an obligation and a responsibility to them. But self-love basically says, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. That means even if it means rejecting your responsibility as a husband, a father, you leave that family behind just so you can appease other people on just 14 to 18 hours away. That's how you show your love. That's how you show your love to your family, to your extended family, because of the fact that you're going to waste money you don't have. You're going to put money on credit that you don't have so that you could delay getting your family in a house because you're going to go off and you're going to please other people. No. Tired of having a broke mentality and calling me the N-word. Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground, but I'm the N-word. I'm the neglectful, not loving family person? Are you kidding me? I'm doing what's responsible. God is calling me because I'm not dressed up and geared in your self-love, because of the fact that I'm not in your delusional self-righteousness, I'm doing what's required of me. God calls me to take care of my wife that has been a hostess to you in our home, to my kids who are excited to talk to you on the phone, but the only reason why they will not talk to you again is because you've chosen to walk away, not me kicking you out. This is ridiculous as you sit here and you watch this. So I'm being selfish because of the fact that I don't want to leave my family behind to go take care of family that's in New York. Because I don't want to just start shelling out money that I don't have to basically give money to family in Haiti. I'm wrong. I'm detaching myself from the family members. So when do I get into, I'm supposed to live in an apartment for the rest of my life so that I can appease people who have been hypocritically condemning me? Yes, now I get it. And I'm the one who's narcissistic. I'm the one who's the Nigger. I'm the one who everyone hates. Okay. See, this is what happens when you are Wookin Panub in all the wrong places, that you're so fixated on the person in the mirror, you don't get a chance to look through my eyes and see that I'm not trying to love. It's easy. Oh my goodness. Oh, so easy to love Watson. Oh, trust me. There's a whole bunch of different things I could go off and buy right now. I could buy new cameras. I could buy new computers. I could buy a ton of different things and basically screw my family financially because I want to make Watson happy. There's a whole bunch of different things to do. Oh yeah, I can just pick up and jump in a car and drive to New York. I can just get on a plane and fly to Florida, fly to New York, fly to California, fly to Canada, fly to Haiti, fly to all these other different places. There's a million different things I can do. Because of the fact that this will appease people to make you believe that this is how much I love family. See, folks, when I say battle for freedom, this is the very thing I'm trying to help us walk away from. See, that people will pressure you. People will basically condemn you for doing what God has called you to do. For holding a standard for your family, here's another one. The whole idea of giving your kids, hey, listen, if you want to give your kids lollipops, if you want to give your kids junk food, by all means, do whatever you want to. But childhood obesity and childhood diabetes is a reality going on. So when the idea of thinking that giving a child a lollipop, a piece of candy, is somehow a default thing that you do when you don't know what else to give a child, you tell me, how is that even common sense? Bread? Cut up apples? You already have children. You've never heard of applesauce? You've never heard of these different things that children can have? But how about this simple thing about asking, what can I give your child? It's not like there was no means of communication. But I'm the unloving one. Folks, don't get wrapped in this pressure stuff of people trying to hold you to a standard that they won't hold themselves. Seriously. See this politically? Where is this? Someone shared this morning, and it was beautiful because of the fact that I looked at the picture and I was like, holy cow, this is exactly what's going on right now. This is exactly what's going on right now at this very moment with this level of ignorance. I don't know, Frank, who is his name? Franco comes out with this cartoon. This is just so apropos to this. So this is a Minnesota school public official yelling at a child, keep it on. As the child basically says, I shouldn't be wearing this mask. As this child, this is in athletics, and this is from Branko. As you sit there, and he has this wonderful political cartoons, and it's really great as you sit there looking at this person yelling at this child to keep this mask on. Minnesota Public Schools yelling at this child, keep the mask on. You're saying it basically is child abuse. And I finally realized, holy cow. Because of the fact that here I am, I'm thinking I'm engaging in a healthy relationship with other individuals. And for 7 years, I've been condemned because they want me muzzled. Like muzzling this child, muzzling people wearing masks and everything, like muzzling people who want to share stuff about election fraud, muzzling people who want to share stuff about vaccines, muzzling people who want to share stuff about the virus, muzzling people who want to start sharing stuff about corruption during the Obama administration, muzzling people who want to sit there and talk about the whole idea of standards that God may have. These are the people who are, just like they didn't want Colin Kaepernick speaking, sharing his opinion, these are the very same people who condemn whites, who condemn other people for telling Colin Kaepernick, keep your mouth shut. They're doing the same exact thing. They're doing the same exact thing. They are telling you, don't speak. Don't share your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter. It's unloving. I'm sitting here thinking, holy cow, you're trying to muzzle me. See, long before we had mask mandates, we had mask mandates by self-righteous, hypocritical people. And many of us are living our lives. We're living these captured lives and in these restricted lives because we're too busy trying to make them like us. Why? Walk away. Walk away. It's not worth it. You're going to find yourself, and we're going to find ourselves completely miserable because of the fact that we're trying to make other individuals like us. They had never, to find a desire they never had a desire to do in the first place. Seriously. We are trying to get people to like us, and they never had a desire to like us in the first place. They set a standard for living so high for us that they don't want to live because they're too busy loving the person in the mirror. And here's the thing about it too. Remember, the person who's so focused on the person in the mirror doesn't want anybody else in the mirror. Have a blessed day, Carolyn. Take care. They don't want anybody else in the mirror. See, I'm saying this for all of us because I'm trying to free you. I'm trying to free you. God has set a life for us to live. And that life is to be glorifying God, not ourselves. Not ourselves. Our lives are about blessing other individuals. And I sit here and again, I've got to go back to Amy Winehouse. As I sit here and I look at this woman who's lived this life so miserable that she couldn't even live And I look at this, and as you look at this image here, of this woman, I mean, look at this. Look at this woman here. She is so sheltered. She is so battered. This woman is sitting there performing. Dog, perform, dog, perform. Just give us what we came here and we paid for. Perform, dog, perform. And do you realize that that's what many of us have been subjecting ourselves to for so long, is that we've been performing for other individuals rather than living the life that God has called us to live? Oh my goodness, Kathy, that's so perfect. Narcissists do not want anyone in their picture unless they bow down to them. Period. These self-righteous individuals who sit there and they hold you to a standard that they don't want to hold themselves because they don't want anybody else in the mirror. Listen, here, understand this. I love what I'm doing. Whether it's radio, whether it's computers, whether it's parenting, I want everyone to succeed. I'm not the only one who has who does a great job in parenting. I have friends who live right down the street from me who do an awesome job in parenting. I have friends who live down in Indy. I have friends who live on the South Side. I have friends who live all over in Fishers and Carmel and Westfield and wherever that do a great job. I'm not here seeking a limelight for myself. I want everybody to succeed. I'm an equal opportunity, equal success individual. I want everyone to succeed. I can have other people in the mirror with me. I'm cool with that. And you know what? And if I don't show up in the mirror, I'm also cool with that as well too. Because the fact that I realize that the person who really needs to be shining more than me and everyone else is God. That we should be happy that if God gives us any success, any opportunity, even if it's a smidgen of success, but all the glory goes to him. But when we get so fixated in believing that we're these people that we're not, and we're willing to condemn people because of the fact that they don't live up to the false righteous standards that we set up, we make ourselves out to be gods. We make ourselves out to be gods. We make ourselves out to be people, and what we do is we expect other people. We abuse people. We verbally abuse people, and we sit there and we look at this whole idea of how we treat them like an Amy Winehouse. Play, dog, play. Play, dog, play. So sad. Her life destroyed. Because she's had to live up to a standard, an unexpected, even this past weekend on Saturday Night Live, something was really sad. So you remember the 666 guy with the, what is his name, Lil Nas? And, here it is. I think this is another person who was molested like, the guy spoke about last week, who came out saying that he had HIV. But Lil Nas X rips his pants on live television during very sexy SNL performance. I wanted to do my pole routine so bad that this is what I get. So Lil Nas is sitting here doing this performance, and he's dancing and he's parading himself out again on Saturday Night Live, folks. On Saturday Night Live, this young boy, this young man is parading himself out like a piece of meat. Dance, boy, dance. It's gotten that bad that there's all this provocative nonsense that we just keep doing because we've always done it. We don't want to change what we're doing. We don't want to change our language. We don't want to change how we're behaving. Because we're exercising our freedom. We're exercising doing what we want to. Because we've got to be in the limelight. And we got to be praying for Lil Nas X. Like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, this is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking. It was interesting. I was at my in-laws yesterday. And I haven't watched PGA Tour golf in a while, and so my brother-in-law, he was watching. I was like, "Oh, cool! Let me sit down and watch this." And so Phil Mickelson is out there, and he's struggling, and so we're cheering him on and everything like that. And Phil Mickelson had just hit this wonderful bird. I called it, and my brother-in-law just laughed like, "You said that was going to happen." And so he chips the putt in from. He chips from the bunker into the hole, and I called it. I had my hand up like, it's going in before he even swung the club. And here it is. There were all these great moves, these great plays that Phil Mickelson had done on his way to winning the PGA Tour, and not just that, but the major that he played yesterday. And I sat there celebrating because of the fact that as you watched him, he was happy, he was excited, he was celebrating, but he tried to be low key in the whole process of doing this. Because he didn't want to celebrate too soon. He didn't want to celebrate too early. Just because I have a couple of wins here, it doesn't mean that I'm really achieving anything until I seal the deal and this round is over and there's no one else with the same score as me or better than me. I think that a lot of us right now, we're doing these fist pumps, we're doing all the celebration, we're basically drop kicking people and arrogantly throwing our clubs at people and drop kicking them into the water hazards, drop kicking them into the sand traps, because we believe that we have somehow achieved some level of success in our lives, and it's okay to do people wrong right now. It's okay to be so callous, mean, hypocritical, self-righteous. I'll tell you, if you haven't heard me tell you, I still don't get this thing right. I see it here and I look at this. There's so much stuff that happens in our lives. Here's the last one I want to go over with. So Governor Whitmer apologizes after photo shows her in a bar violating her own order. This is a very interesting one here, and the reason why I share this is because of the fact that here it is again. There was a standard that were held by people in this country. Wear your masks. Countless occasions. Right now, Nancy Pelosi keeps fining Thomas Massie and other individuals because they won't wear a mask in the House. Mind you, Nancy Pelosi has been seen in a salon that was supposed to be closed, not wearing a mask. That Barbara Boxer has been seen in an airport not wearing a mask. That Governor Newsom has been seen not wearing a mask. Governor Whitmer not seen wearing a mask. Governor Cuomo not seeing a mask. All these individuals who were wear masks, but I don't have to abide by those rules. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her Tesla parking illegally in front of a Whole Foods. I make the laws. I don't have to abide by them. What's her name? Maxine Waters. Hey, listen, what do you think about the curfew? I don't care about curfews. That does not affect me. So as I sit there watching it on the political scale, I watch and see how this happens even on the lower scale, just with us peons in the world, where people will hold you to a standard that they won't live themselves. Folks, I'm trying to help you right now. Stop Wookin Panub in all the wrong places. Because sometimes the very people that you're looking for Wookin Panub from, they're too busy loving themselves in the mirror that they couldn't care if you existed. And that's the truth. They couldn't care. You shine love, you shine compassion, and so much more on them. The only person that's going to give you the proper example of what love looks like is Christ. I need that example every day. I need to be in his word. Even right now, as I start the last segment of Romans, the section on service and serving people, I'm about to start Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. And actually, I think I need to do both verses separately and just focus on each verse by itself. But as we sit here, we move from the sovereignty of God, and now we're into the acts of service and how we serve God, and we serve Him, when we serve Him with all due diligence. My family, we're watching The Chosen now on PureFlix, and it's really humbling to see the way that this character is portraying Jesus, and just the everyday conversations that he's having with these individuals, as people being awakened to the whole idea of self-righteousness just doesn't get you anywhere. I know I have a long way to grow. I have a long way to go in this thing called right living and glorifying God in everything that I say and I do. I want to stop loving the man in the mirror and love more the man who died for me, the God who died for me. And I encourage you to do the same, because that's the only way we will do this right. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. Brad Stacks and Daily Mojo's up next. I'm exhausted. I'm going to take a break. Y'all be blessed. I'm out.